All right. I got to see the little spinny, do the spinny, and boom, there it goes. Hey, you're on Lunch Conversations with Randy and Teddy. For those of you who are paying close attention, you'll notice that Randy is not here. And for those of you who are paying even more close attention, you'll notice that I don't have my special co-host with me. I dropped the ball on Monday, which was a holiday, and I didn't put it together well enough. And so I'm running the show all by myself. Please grant me a little bit of latitude as I do the best I can do, and I think I can do this. Hey, Lunch Conversations with Randy and Teddy is sponsored in part by the Elder Law Firm out of Greensboro, North Carolina. The Elder Law Firm really wants to help you stay committed to your commitments to your loved ones. So if you know anybody who is facing estate planning or elder care planning, or if you know anybody who's an elder who may need some guidance and maybe some legal ideas or legal insights, reach out to the Elder Law Firm in Greensboro, North Carolina, the elderlawfirm.com. Their phone number is 336-396-4551. And you must let them know that Teddy told you to stop by. So our special guest today is a good friend of mine, Nat Bernstein. Nat, I think I got everything running. Let me just give me one quick second to make sure I see it. Boom, I see it there. Let me go over to Facebook and make sure I see it there. Boom, I see it there. It's you and me, buddy. I'm in complete control.
Perfect.
You know?
Perfect.
So Nat Bernstein is out of Greensboro, North Carolina. He's a retired business professional, and I probably have a few hecklers on here who may disagree with that, but I believe that you are. I met Nat years ago. I can't remember where we met. Do you remember where we met, Nat?
I'll have to think of it.
Yeah, I'll come up with it. But would you introduce yourself to our audience and just tell them a little bit about who you are, please?
Yes, I'd be happy to. My wife and I moved to North Carolina in the early 2000s. I was an executive with Sealy Mattress Company. I was in charge of sales training. And part of my training, I enjoyed working with other trainees, and thus SCORE was of interest to me. SCORE was developed, and it's an acronym for Service Corps of Retired Executives. We no longer use that term because so many of our members are active workers. They're not retired. Yeah. So I've changed it, and I call the acronym is the Service Corps of Resourceful Executives. Yeah. And our goal and objective is to work with business people who are thinking of going into business, and helping them formalize their ideas. We are a government-sponsored free entity, and I sometimes hate to say that because I used to have someone say to me, you know, Nat, free advice is worth what people pay you for. And I have to disagree with that as it relates to SCORE, because SCORE offers outstanding advice. Our chapter has maybe 30 active members, of which 20 to 22 are constantly working with entrepreneurs, yeah, or would-be entrepreneurs. We fill out a form.
But hang on though, Nat. Hang on. I don't want to go that deep. I want to stay all about you.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
I want to stay all about you. So, so yeah, I think you and I may have met through a job search group that I used to volunteer at. It used to be called FPC Jobs.
Okay.
Then it became Triad Career Network. A dude that used to work with years ago named Jeff Claypool is one of the leaders of that group. And Chan just reminded me of that.
Right. Jeff was the
HR dude.
Head of HR for all of Sealy worldwide, actually.
Yeah. And
yes, and we worked together for over 20 years.
Yeah. And Tom Eaton is another guy that was at Sealy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. So,
right.
So you came down here to North Carolina in 2000s to take the Sealy job.
Right. Well, I was with Sealy at the corporate headquarters was in Cleveland, Ohio, and Mitt Romney bought our company and moved our offices to Trinity, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And I decided that Trinity was a little too small for me, but a half an hour drive from Greensboro. So Greensboro became our home. And it's very interesting, real quick, for those North Carolinians on the call. When I retired in 2014, my wife and I moved to Denver, where we have family. And we were there for exactly 2 years. And my wife looked at me and said, could we move back to North Carolina? I miss everything about it.
Yeah.
And I went, yeah. So we came back and we've been here ever since. And love it.
I'm with you, buddy. I came down here 1997, 3 years before you did. And and so now myself and 4 daughters, my wife, this is absolutely home. There's no other home for us. So yeah. So good stuff. So you spent a lot of time in the business world, and then you joined Score. So tell me personally, why did you join Score? And we'll talk about what Score is in a minute, but why did you join it?
Okay, let me, if you don't mind. So in 1964, when Score was developed,
yeah,
I was a freshman in high school, and I was at my current wife, we were already dating when we were freshmen in high school. Her best friend's father was one of the first volunteers of Score.
Oh, cool.
So I heard all about it. And at the time, he was active with the Small Business Administration in Washington, D.C. And long story short, I've always wanted to coach, wanted to mentor, and talking about someone's business ideas is just a favorite pastime of mine. So, and I highly recommend to anyone listening, you should inquire, feel free to contact me or any member of Score. Just check us out. It's a terrific organization, and our local chapter is very vital and active. Yeah.
So 1964, you heard of Score. Do you know what I was doing in 1964?
You were wearing diapers?
No, dude. No, I was out by then.
Okay. What were you doing in 1964?
I think I was in elementary school.
Oh, wow.
64. Yeah. Yeah. I was 6 years old.
Wow.
I was causing havoc in first grade. Yeah.
and you still are. It's perfect.
I'd keep trying. So let's go to the top. Go to the top.
Okay.
Why did the Small Business Administration create Score? What's the overlying goal?
Okay, so actually, someone went to the Small Business Administration with the idea of Score.
Yeah.
And the concept was to help guide new entrepreneurs through the process.
Yeah.
So that let's say your dad was an engineer, or your dad was a doctor, or your dad was a salesman or whatever, and didn't know what Score was, or really, Score has created mentorships that can last a lifetime. Mm-hmm. And the purpose of it is to really help people go through the process of going from, gee, I'm thinking of starting a business, to starting a business. And Teddy, if it's okay, I'd like to share with our listeners a real quick story. I can remember the very first client that I worked with here in North Carolina worked for a big health organization. And she was a cleaner. Yeah. She dusted and cleaned, whatever. She worked over 30 years to save $3,000 All she was able to say after 30 years, $3,000, and she wanted to spend that money or invest that money on an idea that she had. And part of my gut was she was going to blow the $3,000. And after a couple months, she'd be out of her job and out of her money. So I gave her an assignment to do. I said, I'd like you to do these 2 or 3 things, not super complicated. I never saw her again. She never left her job. She still has her money. But her dream wasn't good enough to blow her savings on. And that's, part of our responsibility, I think, is to help people make the right personal decision. I didn't make it for her, but I helped her make that right decision. Stay doing what you're doing versus blowing it on an idea that you have.
I get you, man. I often remind myself, Nat, that our job is to make them think.
Make them what?
Make them think. Just make them think.
Yeah.
You know?
Very, very, very important. And I'm very proud of the fact that our mentors do that. We don't have people telling other people how easy it is. I think a lot of people, when they're dreaming of going into business, will look at someone they know who's in business and go, well, if he could do it or she could do it, I could do it.
Yeah.
Well, that's not necessarily so. Or you see someone running a successful business and you think, I could do that. Well, I'm not so sure you can do that. It's a blend of personality. It's a blend of a lot of things that make businesses successful. And our goal is to not tell people what to do, but to ask good questions, get them involved in good conversation, and hopefully come to the right conclusion. My gut tells me that we're successful at that we convert some of the people who come in will actually go into business. A lot of them don't, because we're honest with them and say, you know what, it's a lot of work, and you don't want to blow your money on stuff. So for instance, that brings me to an important point, and that it's called, have you ever heard of this, Teddy? A business plan.
Business plan. Is that like you buy it all? Do you buy that off of Amazon, or do you buy it at the Dollar Tree? Where do you buy that?
Absolutely not. You come to Score and you're taught how to create a business plan. But sometimes that's where we'll lose people. They'll go,
yeah,
wait a minute, you want me to take a road trip and I'm going to need a map in order to go from here to there? I mean, that's what a business plan is. It's a road map. Yeah. And they need to be flexible. You need to be able to change your goals and objectives as you may have to speed it up, you may have to slow it down, you may have to expand it, contract it, whatever. But I think that our goal is to educate people, not tell them what to do, but help them come to the right conclusion that keep your day job and maybe one day your dream job will come true. Yeah. Or really help them through that process so that they can keep their day job and still have their dream job.
I remember, Nat, back in 2011, I had a hankering to create a business. I'd already started Burriss Consulting, but I had a hankering to create an outplacement firm. Now, for those who don't know what outplacement firms are, they're basically consulting groups that help people who are relieved of their duty in large corporations and they're in job search. So an outplacement firm will take those people and help them figure out all the things they need to do to be able to find that next great job. And outplacement coaches really spend a lot of time with individuals to help them put together the plan, put together their marketing material / resume, put together their conversations, et cetera, et cetera. So I had a great plan. I was going to create an outplacement firm that could compete in a much more grassroots way with the big boys. And the big boys, they want an arm and a leg and 2 kneecaps to do coaching for, rift or cut or fired executives.
Right.
So I put together this whole plan. I did what Score teaches to do. I put together a plan. It was a pretty well laid out plan. I had all my, knew all the resources I needed to have. I knew where I was going to get my money, whatever money I needed to get this started. I knew where I was going to find all the resources, the people to be coaches for me. And then I went on a journey to have conversations with organizations who would hire my firm, so that I was preceding the opportunity for me to get business. Everybody loved what I was doing. I had about 5 big organizations that were really excited about what I was doing. And they said, we will hire your firm the day you say you're ready to start doing outplacement coaching. Here's what my plan and my conversations discovered for me, Nat. I loved coaching. I was not excited about running an outplacement firm. That is much different than coaching, much different than doing training and consulting. And I packaged the whole thing up, put it on the shelf. And if Score would have helped me do that, I was fortunate enough that I had people who made me think along the lines of how to do this and got me to put together that plan and have those conversations so that I didn't waste dollar and time doing a business that I knew I wasn't going to enjoy.
Right.
So,
but an advantage that Score has to offer is that we have a variety of coaches, and it's possible that you're the perfect coach for the person you're working with, and then all of a sudden something comes up and you go, you know what, I think Nat would be perfect for this part of that coaching. And we're able to do that. We have a wonderful list of each of our areas of interest, areas of expertise. And as we work with a client, we're able to include other members of our organization to participate in the mentoring process. I think that's a definite benefit.
well, let's talk a little bit about the 2 big sides of Score. Side A is the volunteers. Side B are the mentees. Talk a little bit about the kinds of people that you've seen over the years who become Score mentors, the volunteers.
That's a very good question. We have a variety of people with all different types of expertise. If you looked through our current list, we have sales types, manufacturing types, people who are retired attorneys or maybe an activist. But the reality is most of our members are, I would say half of our members are retired, and the other half have a flex, like with you, your schedule is flexible enough that you're able to mentor within your schedule. And train others within your schedule. But Score was really developed for the purpose of helping people help other people. So it's not going to school, it's not going to college, but we share real life experiences as business people. And you can't get that in a book. You get that from others who have literally experienced being all alone in an office, trying to sell your idea, trying to grow your business, feeling the loneliness of what that could be. And we can lend a hand, and we can get other people that we are familiar with within our group involved to help. Score, again, it was supposed to stand for the Service Corps of Retired Executives. I once again, say we're the Service Corps of resourceful executives.
Yeah.
And I mean that sincerely, because when I look at the people that I interact with, our interests are varied, our experiences are varied, and we really bring a very enriched group of people to play within our area, and I'm very excited to be part of it. Again, the idea was brought to the Small Business Administration. And the Small Business Administration, a lot of people like to joke about how, oh, it's the government, it's the government. But someone at the Small Business Administration said, no, 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 SCORE should be on its own.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be part of us. We recommend it, we'll refer people to it, but SCORE needs to allow its the business types that mentor within the group to manage their business themselves. And I think that's been extremely beneficial to SCORE.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've known SCORE mentors from for years, different people, and you're right. The cool thing about it is the diversity, all the different areas, operations, finance, human relations, human resources, design, and those again. The cool thing about the group of SCORE mentors that I've met over the years, and most recently over the last year, is that they love to give. They just want to show up. They just want to share ideas and get people to think. And as you said, and I've learned. By the way, to become a SCORE mentor, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. It's not easy. You got to go through some hoops to get there. Right. And don't misunderstand me. It's not like going and getting your doctorate or your master's or even a bachelor, but you don't just say I'm a SCORE mentor and hang your card up. It doesn't work that way. You gotta go. You gotta show that you really truly want to be doing this. I remember the process I went through. It seemed like everything I had to go through, everything I had to listen, every video I had to watch, every article I had to read, and then the little quizzes I had to do, they all just kept coming back to the same thing. Do you really want to help people, Teddy?
Right.
That was pretty impressive to see that.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, and I hope that some of the people who are listening to us will take the time to go to score.org and check it out. It's a very, very big website. It's a very robust and rich website. There's a ton of free material available, but also to me, the most important is on the landing page. It says, click here if you want to volunteer, because we're always looking for more people to mentor, to become mentors. Or if you're looking for assistance, you can also apply for assistance that way to score.org. And it's just a very, very wonderful organization. I think it's also wonderful because it gives people who are either retired or thinking about retirement or have free time in their work schedule, the opportunity to start giving back to the business world. And I think that there's a tremendous room for everybody's kind of expertise. It's just a very, very interesting area. And I encourage people to check us out and to consider joining us or contacting us for mentoring.
So you talked a little bit about some of the things that SCORE does. Talk a little bit about some of the coaching programs or sessions that you've done with individuals. Give me some examples of some of the different work. Without necessarily need to name any of the people you coach, but what's some of the different type of coaching work that you've done for over the years, Nat?
Well, my background, again, was sales training. So I enjoy interacting with people who are looking to expand their area of expertise in the sales world or to become you know, a paid sales trainer or something like that. But I find that I can't, to your point, I won't name a person, but my favorite client is the one who, the first day I meet them, have no idea what they want to do, to the second time I meet, have zeroed in on 2 or 3 things that they really would like to do. And then by the third meeting, are writing a business plan on how to make that happen.
Yeah.
And that's really, to me, I'm not saying that all of our clients are that way, but you know, a lot of our clients are one and done. They think going into business doesn't require any work. It's just, you just show up and it happens. And when they discover that, you know, business plans are very, very important, the roadmap to the success of a business, they go like, oh, I don't want to do that. Well, I'd rather them save blowing their money because they thought this was something they can just do. No, you have to actually work at it. And I think that that's, to me, an important first lesson. And I feel good when the person I'm talking to goes from thinking they're not going to really have to work to, oh my God, I get it now. And I'm going to get into it. I'm going to develop that business plan. Yeah. And I like to start out with simple plans that can become a little more complicated, versus saying, well, here's the most complicated business plan. That's where we'll start. That's just not, it's not correct. It's not fair to the people that are being mentored. And again, our goal is to help people through the process. And as I said earlier, if I think Teddy is definitely the better person than I am while I'm working with a client, I'm going to get him to take over this client. And I think that, again, our current chapter has about 20 or 22 very active members, and maybe another 10 or 12 who aren't so active. But within those active members, you have people of all different types of work backgrounds and areas of expertise and areas of interest. And you can send out I can send out an email saying who has opening up small restaurants as their area of expertise. And 2 or 3 people will get back to me saying, I have it. So yeah, I don't have it. Now you can look at me and you know I like eating in restaurants and I'm good at that. But I wouldn't know how to set up a restaurant, you know, but we work with people who do know how to do that. And that's part of our goal and objective, is to match the right client with the right mentor. And I think we're good at it, and we help lots and lots of people.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, when we come back from the break, we're going to answer the question that Mike dropped in here for you to answer. But first, let's do our 30-minute break. Hey, you're on Lunch Conversations with Randy and Teddy. And for those who are paying attention, Randy's not here, and neither is my sub co-host, because I dropped the ball on Monday and failed to remind her about it. All my bad. But Lunch Conversations with Randy and Teddy is sponsored in part by the Elder Law Firm. The Elder Law Firm statement, I love their statement because it is so powerful. And it is this: who's important to you and how you plan to honor those responsibilities is also important to the Elder Law Firm. So if you know someone who's going through estate planning or going through elder care planning or needs any help in those areas, reach out to the Elder Law Firm in Greensboro, North Carolina. Their number is 336-396-4551. And again, you need to tell them that Teddy told you to call them. So Nat Bernstein's our special guest today, a buddy of mine from Greensboro. Nat's a member of our Piedmont Triad chapter of SCORE. Score Mentors are sponsored by the Small Business Administration, standalone nonprofit. Are we a nonprofit, Nat? I think we are. Yeah. Sponsored by the Small Business Administration. Our goal is to help people who have an idea, have an itch, have a thought, and they want to put together a business. Our job is to help them do it in the best possible way. Hey, Nat, talk about Mike's questions. That's something you can help him with. Evaluating franchises for a business as a purchase. What do we do in that regard?
Okay, so the first step would be to research our current active members.
Yeah. To
see who, if anyone, has any level of expertise in that area.
Yeah.
Because I think that's, to me, so terribly important. And it's important because the person who has a level of expertise in that area will look at what's being offered with a clearer understanding of what's missing. In other words, if I have no knowledge of the construction industry and someone wants to get into that business, then we want to find someone in our group who has an area of expertise in that area, and we will find them. And I think that that's a real benefit to our client.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we have the ability through the Piedmont Triad chapter of SCORE to reach into other chapters to find resources?
That is such a good question.
Absolutely. It came right out of here, buddy.
OMG. OMG. Okay. So all we would do is, and people listening can do this too. You can go to help@score.org.
Yeah.
Help@score.org and say, I want to start a type of business. Who can help me with that? And to your point, with today's electronics, it's very, very possible that you work with a mentor in Seattle, Washington, whose area of expertise is exactly what you need, but using using Zoom, just the telephone, whatever, you have the opportunity to really communicate with others. So our goal and objective would be to try to find within SCORE that expert.
Yeah.
And I will say this, that we have a regional, a district manager based in Southern North Carolina. He's in North Carolina, but the southern end of North Carolina, who is extremely knowledgeable about what's going on in the country, and also can reach out to his counterparts elsewhere and say, we are looking for an expert in this area. Please send me the name or the contact information. Yeah. We're very, very good at doing that. I would say 95% of what we do, we accomplish locally.
Yeah.
But maybe 5% we have to go elsewhere. We're happy to do that. And we're able to do that. Yeah. SCORE, by the way, Teddy, you and I are two of over 10,000 volunteers who give their time for SCORE. That's amazing.
Yeah. It is really, really cool. I like that. Hey, Chan wants to know, I think you already told us the number, that there are about 22 active mentors in the Greensboro area.
Yeah.
And for those who are from the Greensboro area, you may know of the Nussbaum Center, and we have an office at the Nussbaum Center. But I think most of our work we're doing, Nat, lately, tell me if I'm right or wrong, has been by Zoom or telephone.
You're right. I think, though, that what the pandemic has really taught all of us is it doesn't matter how we communicate as long as we do communicate. And if Zoom is fine with everyone, then we should do that. But we can meet together. We have a private office, which is large enough. We have a suite of offices, actually, but the one that we tend to meet clients in is large enough where we're not on top of each other. we wear masks, or we can do it via Zoom or just over the phone,
Yeah.
as long as we can communicate.
Yep. And I'm in Davie County, North Carolina. So my job is, or part of my role is to help, promote SCORE and introduce people within the Winston-Salem area to what SCORE is all about. So we've got the triad pretty well covered. And again, with, lots of really, really good people. So
yeah, we have one of our co-chairs, I don't know if she's on today, is based west of Winston-Salem. Katie's in
Yep.
town west of Winston-Salem. So we definitely have this area covered.
Yeah, but we need help because we have a lot of work going on. We have a lot of mentoring projects going on, and we have a need to bring in more volunteers, people
Absolutely.
who want to be SCORE mentors.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely. Go to score.org and say you want to volunteer. There's a form that you can fill out. It goes to our SCORE National. It's a very professional, easy to follow. But to Teddy's point, we have a need for people to join us.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about some of the benefits that you have seen some of our mentees, some of the people who come to us for help. Talk a little bit about some of the benefits that you have personally seen people receive because they got SCORE mentoring. I mean, you talked about one of them was a lady who just kept her $3,000 in her purse.
Right.
Right. Give me some other examples of how you've seen people benefit from mentoring.
I think we have a mentor who lives in Burlington.
Yeah. And
he has a work history in the food industry.
Mm-hmm.
And if you met this guy, he's low key, he's no nonsense. He would never ask a question of someone that would intimidate them or whatever. And he has really helped lots of people that want to get into the food service business either think twice about it or jump into it with both feet. That he also is able to help match up personality to personality, people that he knows that are within our group that would be ideal for the mentee. So matching up, having a good mentor-mentee relationship is very helpful. Yeah. Because there's a need for a high level of communication. Yeah. And when people are a good fit, they're going to experience positive communication experiences. And that to me is extremely important. And I think we've done a really good job of that. And I also think that we have done a good job of saying, you know what, I'm not really the right fit for this particular individual. And then we reach out and say, who can help us in this particular case? So I think that our chapter is a great place for young entrepreneurs or they don't have to be young, new entrepreneurs, because we will take the time to see to it that they are matched up with a proper mentor. Yeah, I'm with you, Nat. In the mentoring work I've done lately, I've noticed that the more the person I'm working with, or not even more, the sooner that person I'm working with realizes that they can trust me to be, totally honest with them and to really to encourage them to think through what they're doing and encourage them to do some of the processes they need to do. And then when the moment they realize that their best results is what I'm looking for, right, then the conversations become so rich
and the ideation becomes so empowering for them. I'll never forget, I was working with one lady. She had a really interesting business model, something, totally different I've never thought of or heard of before. And when she and I were talking, she kept using the phrase, "This is serious stuff. This is serious stuff." And when, as we're talking, I'm like, I don't see this business being that big. Yeah. And the moment it clicked for me how important and how vital this business was, she caught on that I caught on. Mm-hmm. Then our conversations really were much more, again, empowering for her, because I was encouraging her to really do the things that she needed to do to take this business to the next level for her. And I felt it as well. I'll never forget, I hung that Zoom call up and I sat back. I'm like, wow, that was really, really I'm going to use the phrase again, a rich conversation, because I got it. And she realized that I got it. For me, that's really, really fun for me to when that happens, because I can really create more value for somebody.
I think that one of the things that I find interesting also is, and again, for a potential client, is we sign a pledge every year.
Yep.
As a SCORE volunteer. In fact, one of the volunteers maybe on now kept saying, "Why do I have to keep signing this every year? It's such a pain to have to do every year." We have to sign every year, reminding ourselves that our client's idea is our client's idea. It's not for us to steal and say, "Oh, I love that idea. I'll tell him to forget about it and I'll do it myself." No, we literally sign an oath saying that our goal is 100% devoted to helping our client be successful.
Yeah, yeah. And that not only the confidentiality perspective that we sign and the non-compete and all that, but also that statement that I'm here to give my time, and there is never an acceptable reason, ever an acceptable reason for a SCORE mentor to make money from any SCORE mentee. Never. Pretty easy to do, but it's a big issue and a serious issue for SCORE, serious enough for us to, again, every year remind us to do that. And so, hey, Nat, how about this? Do you have an example of a really unique business that you did some work with through SCORE and you saw it, thrive, after either your direct work with them or others, some really diverse kind of a business?
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. I'm sure that I have, but I'm thinking. Well, I will say that the majority of the businesses that I interact with are relatively small, like one person.
Yeah.
And where they are either a consultant or they're that photographer that was trying to figure out how to do their business. But that's a very good question for our next interview. I will be better prepared to handle.
Oh, good, man.
But having said that, again, for the people listening, the someone listening may have a client that they helped and would like to share with the group. But I know for a fact that we make a tremendous difference, again, with helping people take their dream to the next step and actually start working a real business into a real business. But we also save people the idea of failing by taking an idea that's not quite thought out enough.
Yeah.
And that's part of what our job is, to be able to, if Teddy, you want to go into this type of business, that type of business, I should be asking you questions. And the more questions I ask you, the more you have to think about your business.
Yeah.
And that's really one of the things that I think we're really good at as a SCORE mentors, is asking questions that force the client to really think through what it is that they're trying to do. Again, our goal is not to be able to say, oh, you know, he went into that business and after 6 months failed. Well, that's not going to make any of us be proud of what we do.
Yeah.
But our goal would be to send that person out after a meeting to write a simple business plan.
Yeah.
And then work with them to come up with a little more detailed business plan, and to start assembling the pieces, parts that will help them be successful. That's really what our goals and objectives are.
You know, one of my, you and I have talked about this before, Nat, one of my favorite things to do, and let's go back to even Mike's question about, you know, are you able to help me or help people figure out this franchise is the right thing to do? One of my very first questions I use is in my SCORE coaching sessions, as well as lots of other ways in life. I ask this question. Okay, so you have an idea to do this. You want to create a business where you polish alarm clocks. I'm making up a dumb idea.
Right.
You want to do a business where you're going to polish the door handles on high-rise apartments. Great. Do you know somebody who does that today?
Right.
Or do you know somebody who does something like that today?
Right.
And often I hear, no, it's a brand new thought. Nobody's ever done it. And the reality is, maybe it is somewhat a brand new thought that nobody's ever done, but there are people who have done stuff like that. And until one of my big challenges I throw down every mentoring session I do is, you need to know 5 people who've done this or something similar to it. Because when you have those conversations with people who have been down that journey or a very similar journey that you're going down, you're going to be much better able to make that journey on your own.
Right.
Yeah.
And I also think that do you know 5 people who need that
widget
thing that you're talking about? You know, that widget that you decided to, you know, how do you know that that's something that people, well, I think, again, our goal should be to be able to sit down with people and just not ask questions to embarrass them, not ask questions to talk down their idea, but to ask questions so that they really are thinking through the process completely. And that's why I say that if it's an area that I'm sort of comfortable with, but boy, I know 2 or 3 of my co-mentors who are way more comfortable with that. Yeah. That's really now my job to get that other person involved, because I know that they will. I'm reading behind your wall. It says it all starts with a conversation. Guess what? Some of us are better equipped to have certain conversations than other conversations.
Yeah.
And that's really, to me, the success starts with having the correct matchup of the mentee with the mentor.
Yeah.
And then I think we're doing everybody a service.
Yeah, I'm with you. Absolutely. And that is one of the cool things about our Piedmont Triad chapter, that, you know, we have the 22 people. I mean, there's 30 people on the list. I have everybody's phone number, everybody's email address. They all have my email address. It's really easy to, you know, either through this, it's called Engage, through the SCORE website, or through our direct email or phone calls. to reach out to people. What's really cool I like about it is because I can reach out to all of these guys, and there's 3 or 4 of them on here listening to Nat and want to, heckle him. And I told them they couldn't heckle him. I can reach out and call them. I can call Mark. I can call, Walter. I can call Katie. I can call Peter, etc. I can call Nat, and sometimes he answers the phone. No, you answer the phone every time I call.
Right. And I say, how do I answer?
What do you want, Teddy? No, you don't.
Really.
So, that's just one of the cool things. And you mentioned earlier that one of the neat things about mentoring people is that, done right with people who truly want to move their business to another level or truly want the help. These are not one-off mentoring activities. We can make connections that last a lifetime. I've only been doing it for a year, and I've already made some pretty cool connections that people I say hi to, outside of Score mentoring. It's another really good value proposition for both the volunteer as well as the client.
And I also think that if you ask your client how they heard of Score, 9 out of 10 times they say, from someone who worked with Score.
Yep.
Or I know someone who knows someone who worked with someone at Score, and they said it was an excellent experience. So, the word of mouth is incredibly important and helpful, because it keeps us busy and it keeps us knowing that we're doing the right things. It's a positive thing.
Well, it lets us be. One of the things that I told my daughters, the one most important piece of advice I gave them is I said, you can go do whatever you want to do in life, and I will support you 110%, as long as what you are doing is creating a value for our society in some way or another.
Right.
And I think in some way or another, the mentoring that I get to do through Score gets to create value in our society. May not be huge, but it exists.
Right. Well, there again, I'll repeat maybe for the 3rd time, helping people successfully pursue their career is extremely helpful and very rewarding. Yeah. But also helping people lose their savings on an idea that, even though they think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, isn't.
Yeah.
And I think that our job is to ask them enough questions, send them to enough potential whatevers, so that they discover, oh my God, I may think this is a great idea, but no one else does.
Yeah.
And then I think we've really done our job.
Yep, I'm with you. So what's going on with the Piedmont Triad chapter of Score, Nat? What are we up to that we can share with our audience today?
Well, I think that we have, and if I'm looking at some of our guests, we have some of the freshest creative minds as our members. And I say that lovingly, because I think that breeds more people like them. And that's very important, that we have people who have an interest in helping others, who are creative, who may not have the answer, but know someone who does have the answer, and so on. I think that that's really important. And when I look at the current roster of our members, I see a very fresh and robust group of people, and I'm very excited. That, to me, is the future of our success. The future of our success is helping people that live within the Metro Piedmont Triad area be successful. And if we don't have the answer, we're going to find out. And if that answer is located in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that we're going to connect our client to that member, regardless of where they are, so that we give them the best potential opportunity.
Yeah. And we're I'm a part of the marketing arm of the local chapter, and we have we're trying our best to have more frequent webinars with conversations that are important to people who want to start a business, important with people who want to grow a business. And so we've got webinars scheduled for June. I think it might be 1 or 2 scheduled for June. So we didn't. Yeah, and I shared the link to PiedmontTriad.score.org in the chat for anybody who wants to go visit our website and see what we have going on.
Right.
So really good people out there. So Nat, dude, thanks for taking time out of your hectic world to join me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks.
Good stuff. Is there one bullet point that you want to leave with our audience that you think is important for them never to forget in the context of this conversation about SCORE?
Yes. I would like to ask a question and then answer it. The question is, who benefits from SCORE mentoring?
Yeah.
And the answer is everybody benefits, including the mentor, the mentee, and it's because we will take the time to sit down and discuss the pluses, the minuses. Again, our goal and objective is to help our client have a successful future. Our goal is not to tear down their idea and hoping that they don't pursue it. That's not what it's about.
Yeah.
But I believe that everybody who, if you know of anybody that has a business idea and they're working on it, make sure they contact score.org. And again, it goes to SCORE National, and they will refer people that within our area to our chapter. And once again, I'm not going to make a big deal about it, but if the best person for you is located in a different market, with Zoom today, we can connect you.
Yeah.
And that's our goal and objective, to have a successful relationship with our clients.
Yeah. And I'm with you. Who benefits everybody? It's the client, it's their business, it's their family, and it's our communities that benefit from this. Absolutely. So thanks, buddy. I appreciate you joining us. Hey, next week, let's see, what is that? Would be June 8th, Stan Kimmer. Do you know Stan Kimmer, Nat?
I don't know.
He's in Greensboro. Stan's been on before. Stan always brings some really interesting conversations about diversity and inclusion. And so Stan will be back with another conversation about, the world of diversity and employment and diversity in the workspace. Just another view that he wants to share that Randy and I thought was going to be really interesting. So join us every Wednesday, 11:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for lunch conversations with Randy and Teddy. And we really appreciate the fact that the Elder Law Firm is our sponsor. If you know any other organization that you think would want to help Randy and I to push this show out more and get more great speakers like Nat and all the others, we're at show number 113. Introduce us to anybody you think would want to help us with this. We're grateful again for the Elder Law Firm out of Greensboro, North Carolina, helping us. Their number is 336-396-4551. Everybody have a great rest of the afternoon, and we'll see you next week. Take care, Nat.
Bye-bye. Take care.